of possibility. So that was what full marathon was for me. And it's just amazing that luckily someone convinced me that yes, you can do it, but you have to do it in a very structured manner, because you can wing a half marathon, but you cannot wing a full marathon. It's just not a great idea. So if you train well, then full marathon is totally doable, was what the message I got. In fact, the person who gave that message was our chief guest, Tej. And that's how it started for me personally. And can't believe that I'm here completing some 14 or 15 full marathons now. And when you look at the screen, I'm sure the screen represents more than, I can safely say, 75 full marathons the screen represents, which is incredible, which is absolutely incredible. So all of this knowledge, all of this expertise, we want to share it with all of you. Some of you are doing it for the first time. Many of you have just completed 1 or 2 and still thinking about how to sort of improve on that performance, and as well as training. So this time we thought we will do a webinar focused on full marathon. So I'm so glad to see almost 29 of you are here thinking about full marathon. And I think we have about 85 full marathoners signed up for this season, which is a pretty large number. Last season was, I think, 100 plus full marathoners. So it's a very large contingent of full marathons. And about 2 or 3 seasons ago, we used to say that, man, one bad thing about RHWB ecosystem is that the half marathon as a distance has gotten devalued. People finish half marathon and they just say that, yeah, it's just a half marathon. When first 10 years of my running career, when I do half marathon, I used to brag about it to everybody that knew me about how amazing it was for 20 days. And then suddenly RHWB happened and everybody was doing half marathon and there was no value, or it appeared as if everybody can do it. And what I'm worried now is maybe now that is full marathon right now. I mean, full marathon has slowly crept into our RHWB ecosystem in a way that people are doing full marathon in a fantastic way. People they're not afraid of it. They are not, they feel that, yes, so many of my friends have done it, so I can also do it. And that just speaks to the mental benchmark that we always talk about. When your fellow friends have done it, who looks like you, speak like you, who is as fit or as not unfit as you, if they are able to do it, then why not? We can also do it. So that's, I think, is what is happening. And we are having this fantastic collection of full marathoners in our group, which is so good to see. But that said, there is a lot of hard work behind the scenes. Each one of you that you're seeing here who have done maybe on an average of 4 to 5 full marathons has happened. If you think about it as an average, we didn't wing it. None of us here have winged our full marathon. So this episode or this webinar is all about what does it mean to really prepare for a full marathon? How do you prepare well? And the magic is in the journey here and not just somehow finishing the full marathon. It's about what you do to get to the start line. And that's what this discussion is about. And Srivatsan, if you can share your screen. And as you know, I'm my fellow panelists are all the coaches. I think there are some new runners here. So if you can stop sharing for a second, I just want to introduce our panelists real quick. So if you can, I'll just call out the names and you can just maybe put your hands up a little bit. So we have Srivatsan, who is our full marathon, born and brought up RHWB runner, started off with a full marathon at RHWB and has never looked back. I think has done 8 or 9 full marathons now. And pretty much every other full marathon was a PR, except for maybe 1. And the way he did it is he was so focused. I was his coach. I am his coach for a long period of time. And the one thing that differentiates Srivatsan from everybody else is that he is hyper focused on the training journey, the strength, the yoga, not missing out on the miles. And that reflects on the performance. So that's what Srivatsan is all about here. And when I look at here, like the next one is Naina, if you can just raise your hand. So there she is, Coach Naina, Coach Suja, Coach Sapna, Coach Indu. These are all full marathoners who just became a full marathoner in RHWB for the most part. They just honed their skills by sheer endurance and sheer coming back and, failing a couple of times, taking the, rolling with the punches, so to speak, and not letting it go. And now they're all like consummate full marathoners. They have done like 4 or 5 full marathons around the world and their cadence is now 1 or 2 full marathons every year. That's really the direction these people take. And then when I look at Coach Abhishek, he is on the other end of the spectrum here. He does a full marathon every week or every other week or at least a month. How many full marathons you have done, Abhishek, till now?
I finished 23.
23 full marathons. There you go. And then the same question, if I ask in another year, it'll be about 45 or something. Because, but he generally loves full marathon running. That's Abhishek. He has perfected the art of running full marathon. Doesn't mean that he has ways to improve as well, but that's what he has done. And then when I look at Ani and Anand is a born and brought up runner. Here, Anand, if you is a coach now, is literally a born and brought up runner in RHWB. As in, he's never even thought about running. Came here as a volunteer. And then before you know, he did his 10K. And then Anand being Anand, he focuses, he understands the theory, he asks questions, he's communicative. He doesn't let the coach go that easily. If he has a question, he will make sure he asks not one, maybe multiple coaches to get multiple angles. And he has done what, 4, 5 full marathons now, Anand? I think.
Yeah, four.
There you go. So, I mean, these are all stories, folks, that brings out what does it take to be a full. There is no one path. And now we have Sunil here. He is been with us from a very long time. And he has had his challenges. He wanted to break 5 in full marathon. And that was a major milestone in his life when he did it recently. And it didn't come to him easily. He had to work very hard over long periods of time, maybe 3-4 seasons of hard work. And then he got it. And he has a story, you should check out his TED Talk. He has a beautiful story of his life. And full marathon is just one other feather in his, in his decorative hat, so to speak. And then, of course, Ani, Coach Ani, a very senior coach with us, as you all know. And he has been a half marathoner for the longest of time. Maybe he did 30 half marathons before even considering a full marathon. Is that right, Ani?
Yeah, 8 years.
There you go. It's almost like me. Never thought full marathon as even a possibility of coming in. But then RHWB happened and then he got the sort of confidence to jump in. And I think now he's in the cadence of 1-2 full marathons a year or at least 1 a year. And he's in his own journey in full marathon. Ajay, Sanjay, these are all folks. Coach Sanjay. Sam finished a full marathon just last season. Is that right, Sam? If I'm not mistaken. 2 full marathons. And yeah, there you go. So the story here, folks, is that all of us, even though we are coaches, we all had our journey to full marathon. Full marathon doesn't happen by itself. It's a very nuanced thought. It's a very intentional thought. You cannot wing a full marathon. In fact, a lot of folks who join a full marathon, they can't sustain the training program because they haven't given adequate thought before coming into full marathon. So I think that's one lesson I want to give you here. As you kickstart your full marathon journey, you have 4 months of training. I want you to know that this is a very intentional activity. Doing full marathon is an intentional activity. You can't wing it. You can't say, I didn't have time to do strength training. I didn't have time to do enough running and then go there. And this is when I want to end with one thought my coach gave me. So she said, in a full marathon, especially in a full marathon parlance, everyone must take 100 units of pain to get full marathon. That's a given. Everyone must take 100 units of pain. The only choice is, do you want to take 80 units of pain during training so that you have only 20 units remaining during the race day? Or you want to just do 40 units in training and then have 60 units of pain during race day? This is the choice. So if you are in the latter category where you just wing the training, you know for a fact that it's going to be a humongous struggle on a race day. Many times they won't even complete the race. Or the better option is, let's take all the pain in a slow and structured manner right through the season so that come race day, the marginal amount of pain that you need to take is only a little bit, that you can easily conquer it and have a happy full marathon running and finish with a smiling face. That is the thought process. And with that, can you please share the screen? I'll go very quickly and hand it over to Indu because many of the slides are already there in the new hire orientation as well. So if you go to slide 3, always let us remind ourselves on that wonderful quote that we love to kind of go through it again and again from Thomas Jefferson, which is loading.
Oh, you can't see it?
No, unless it is either me or others can see it.
It's loading.
Oh, shit.
Still loading.
Okay, we have a new problem that we have to solve now live.
This thing? Okay, let me just stop the sharing. And
I got this. Do you want me to share?
Yep, if you can, and share with the optimized button if you can. Yeah. So if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. And as full marathoners, nothing can be more true than this. And what you should do this next 16 weeks is absolute dedication and commitment to the cause. You need to be the torchbearers in executing a season to its absolute best. I'm talking 4.5 out of 5 rating. That's the rating that you need to be shooting for in all aspects of your training. When you do that, you will definitely get something you've never done, you never got till now. Let's keep going. In the interest of time, because you're full marathoners, we can fast forward this. We'll share this link separately. Of course, develop, connect, and create a strong network of amazing human beings. As a reminder, is our mission. And as full marathoners, there is one thing I can tell you. You truly can lay stake to the claim that when you finish a full marathon, we will consider you an amazing human being for sure, within the definition of RHWB, which is taking on difficult challenges, working hard to get over it, learn from dips and failures, and really enjoy the success. That's really what amazing human beings we define. And full marathon is going to offer you the full spectrum of all these emotions in the next 16 weeks. Yeah, please go to the next slide. I hand it over to Indu, Coach Indu, to maybe start talking a little bit about this and a few other items from here. Or is it that, or maybe I'll take this and then hand it over the next slide. Commitment, resilience, and having fun are the 3 pillars that, given you're all full marathoners, I don't want to repeat it again, but these are the 3 pillars that we will be using more so in a full marathon context. If you don't know how to have fun running 18 miles and 20 miles, trust me, it will get really boring after a point of time. So you got to make sure that you learn how to have fun in long runs. So don't go and do the run in the same place again and again for 16 weeks. You will get bored. You got to figure out different places, different techniques, running with different people, etc., so that it becomes fun. Resilience is another super critical item for a full marathon journey. You will have an issue at some point. Just take it as granted. There will be some injury, there will be some strain, there will be something or the other that will happen where you have to miss a long run, but you got to come back. You have to come back as quickly as you can so that you can continue the journey of the training. Yeah, let's keep going to the next slide. Yeah, quick thing. These are all your coaches, all homebred coaches. Amazing set of team of coaches that we have. If you go to the next slide as well. So across from season 6 onwards, we've been developing our coaches. 95% of them are RRCA certified. The ones who have just joined will be getting the certification soon. And I think everyone, maybe one here and there may be missing. Everyone is a full marathoner as well. And I can also guarantee you, your coach who is going to coach you for full marathon will 100% be a full marathon. Not one, maybe multiple full marathons. So you are in very good hands, experienced hands, and you just have to follow the coach to make this happen for you guys. Okay, let's keep going. So I invite now Coach Indu to share her thoughts on how do you start preparing for full marathon at a little bit more detailed level. Over to you. Oh, you are on mute, Indu?
Thank you, Bala, and thanks for pointing out I was on mute. Happy New Year to everybody. It is actually so nice to see all the coaches here on the screen and others on the webinar. I'm sure you guys had an excellent holiday and you're looking forward to starting your training for your probably first full marathon or maybe your 10th or maybe your 20th. So, having said that, let's just quickly go over some key ingredients which is required for our journey, the next 16 weeks. So, coaching app, Final Surge, I'm pretty sure all of you have connected with your coach, everything, you're all set. Your phone is ready with your Final Surge app. You know how to browse through the training plans. Running watch, I'm pretty sure you guys have a proper running watch, which is Garmin or could be an Apple Watch. And if you have any other watch, please do talk to your coach. And then the most important ingredient, according to me, is running shoes. So very quickly, little did I know, I used to go to Kohl's and get the say shoes which were on sale. And in fact, I used to get Nike for like 30 bucks. I so clearly remember that. And 3 years ago, when I started my full marathon journey, 2021 was my first full marathon. I realized that, these shoes which come on sale continuously gives me niggles and pains somewhere or the other in my body. And that's when, and of course, thanks to our RHWB coaches and our team who actually coached me. And I realized that, you know what? There is no more sale business. I have to go to a proper running store. So for New Jersey people, we have, and for not New Jersey, all over US, there is a store, either Roadrunner, Fleet, or I'm sure Texas has some other store where they actually do a proper gait analysis of your and analysis of your feet, and they actually suggest you shoes based on your stride, the way you pronate, overpronation, underpronation, all that good stuff. So, Ani, if you can go to the next slide. So yeah, this slide just summarizes what I spoke. Some good running shoe brands are Brooks, Saucony, Asics, New Balance. But again, I would highly urge you to go to a running store and figure the best shoes for your legs along with custom insoles. So, and believe me when I say this, I have learned it the hard way. So, so definitely do that. If you can go to the next slide, Ani, please. Okay, so this is one of my favorite topics actually, winter running. So when I started my full marathon journey, and my third full marathon was actually going to be in spring. That means my training was going to be in winter, and I was like, winter running? Oh my God, I have never done that. How am I going to do that? And then now I'm in love with training in winter. Reason? Because I'm fully prepared. So basically, there is no such thing as too cold to run. Like I know we have like 15 degrees, 20 degrees in the Northeast, 25, 30. Of course, 30 is good, but anything less than 30, we really feel cold. And you know what? It's just you have to dress right for that kind of weather. So the rule of thumb, and Bala talks about this in one of his podcasts, I believe, where 222 is the key formula for runners in winter. And that's all you need to remember, 222. 222 means 2 layers of every gear, of course, except shoes because you can't have two shoes. Fixes everything after 2 miles for the next 2 hours. And the reason being, we all are into long distance running, meaning we are going to be running 90 minutes or more. Only the first week probably you'll have a 60-minute run, but after that it's 90 minutes or more for the next 16 weeks. So remember, when you go out, you need to consider that the temperature is 10 degrees warmer than what it is. So if it's 20, that means your feel is going to be 40 in a matter of just 2 miles. First mile, I know we feel cold and then the body warms up and that's how you're going to feel. So just very quickly, if you go to our website, we have two links where you can browse through and go into detail about the winter gear. But just some pointers, you always have to remember: base layer, always dry on the inside, like you could do thermal, merino wool, etc. Second layer, which is soft and cozy, I like to wear a t-shirt. And then outer layer is just like light jacket, wind cheater, gloves, hat, etc., which can come out, or you can just take it off as and when needed. And very important, winter running, safety. First thing, you need to avoid black ice. And second thing, most important, you need to be seen. So you need to wear all this, you have this reflecting gear or a headlamp or something like that, because as you know that 4 o'clock you go out for a run, by 5 o'clock it's dark, and then you know what, people can't see you. So it's very important. Safety is a must. Ani, if you can go to the next slide.
So once again, Indu, one point I wanted to make here on the previous slide, if you could go to the previous slide, Ani. Oh, you're going. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just want to say that we have signed up for a full marathon here, right? That means this is not the time for any frivolous reasons. Zero frivolous reasons are acceptable. I'm talking about internally, not by us, but internally you should be in that mindset. So that's why I really like that quote on the left corner. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will never get anything done. 100%. This perfect condition could be weather, it could be time, it could be a mindset, it could be so many different reasons why it's okay up to half marathon level. Today it's a little too cold, I will change over from Thursday to Friday. Or today my body is a little bit paining, so I'll do half of it, that type of stuff. But when you're in full marathon mode, your sort of default setting is it doesn't matter. The inputs doesn't matter. I go for a run and get it done. That should be the aggressive approach towards training, guys. You need that. You need that approach, especially in winter. Of course, you would soon realize once you have good clothing, winter running is actually the most enjoyable, as long as there is no ice and things are not there. It's the most enjoyable thing. I mean, hands down, like 2x more enjoyable than running in summer, let me tell you. In fact, I love winter training. If it is snow and if there is no winter, actually, I like to run with a little bit of snow flurries. It's even it's a lot of fun. My point here is travel. Of course, you will travel. So what, you are not traveling? You have a calendar, set up the calendar and just go and make it happen. This is the mindset I want you guys to be in. Aggressive mindset towards training. Back to you.
Thank you, Bala. Ani, next slide. So the next slide is about strength training, and it's always been my favorite topic. Even when I talk to the runners in my cohort, I stress a lot on strength training. So before I was into this long distance running and I used to do my short distances like 5K and stuff like that, I always used to believe that, you know what, to run fast, I just need to keep running. Strength training, I would have all these muscles and I will have all, I look buff. How am I going to run fast? But that is a myth. It's false. The truth is, to improve your performance in running, to improve your agility, speed, balance, coordination, and decrease your injury risks, strength training is very important. And you know what the best part is? RHWB has made us easy, made it very easy for us all. Basically, you don't need to figure out, you don't need to go to the gym and figure out what you need to do today. All you have to do is open your Final Surge app, and there are these exercises which are given to you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if I'm right. Or I think full marathoners probably one more day probably. But yeah, so basically all you need to do is follow that YouTube, follow those exercises, and your strength training is done. And I have learned it again. This is another thing where I have learned it really the hard way. I still remember my first full marathon when those hills got me. And that's when I decided, and I was very firm on that, you know what? I am not going to take strength training lightly. So since then, I am on top of strength, especially off season. Definitely, I focus a lot on it. So weekly training schedule, like I told you, it's on Final Surge. And we focus a lot on these kinetic chain and core muscles. Now, what is kinetic chain? If you see Final Surge, you would be seeing that term quite often. It's just a group of muscles which are interconnected to each other from top to bottom. So if my ankle is paining, you know that problem probably is not the ankle. It's somewhere in the glutes, in the hips. So that is the beauty of these muscles. They are all so interconnected, and we work on strengthening them throughout the season. And our Final Surge has different levels of strength training based on the segment you have registered. Like a 5K probably does not have an aggressive strength training like a full marathoner. And like I mentioned, right, why this is important, of course, it reduces the risk of these overuse injuries. It gives us more power. It also improves our posture and balance while running. And I can actually vouch for it. You do strength training, automatically in 2 weeks you will see the difference for yourself, how your body just has a different form, how you feel stronger. And for me personally, whenever I do a strength training, I feel good. I have those happy hormones, I just feel good about myself. And Bala has some beautiful podcasts. If you go to our website, I have actually listed those two links here. Just go and listen to them, and you will really, he talks in depth about why strength training is important. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Back to what's.
All right. Thank you, Indu. That was fantastic and such an important part of the training process. In case anybody still doubts the value of training, strength training particularly, think about how you feel when you're running, say, a 1 hour run, how you carry yourself at the beginning of the run and at the end of the run. At the beginning of the run, your body is fresh and without fatigue. You carry yourself very nice and tall, and your muscles all work well. End of the run, your muscles are fatigued, and you suddenly notice that you're starting to slouch, and your posture is not as good. And as you are consistent with your strength training, you will notice that you are able to hold your posture, can carry yourself well through most of your run. And what does that mean? That means less chance of injury, which is exactly what the purpose of strength training is. So do not
Exactly.
skip it.
And Srivatsan, it's very interesting you said that. I just met one super senior runner, okay, and he's also a coach based out of India. I mean, when I say super senior, he does like some 3,500 miles a year. If you go to Strava, you'll see, and he ran with me in Berlin. And he was generally talking about marathon preparation, and he had a wonderful way to think about strength training. And what he was saying is, if you're not convinced of strength training for whatever reason, you don't feel like doing strength training, that's fine. It is what it is. Next time you go for a long run, and when he says long run, it's anything more than a half marathon, let's say 14, 15 mile run. And when you do 14, 15 mile run, around the 11 mile mark, some part of your body will start paining. Okay. And that is when you need to start thinking, oh, if around 11 mile mark, this part of my body is paining, how am I going to sustain another half marathon distance or maybe more of that? And that is where strength training comes in. It delays the onset of weak muscles getting into your running performance. Now, when I think about that framework, when I apply onto my own long runs, like full marathons, I can clearly say around 21, 22 miles, my glute muscle starts giving way. And I know that some of other coaches have had similar experiences too. My hip and glute muscles are my weakest point when it comes to sustaining 26 miles of running. I have the energy because GU is there for me. I have the energy. There is no problem in energy, no problem in water, no problem in motivation because fellow runners are there cheering and so many cheers are there. But still, I start struggling at mile 22 or I find it difficult to maintain the pace. It is because my hip and glute starts obstructing my running. So that is what tells me that, oh, I better start doing strength training for my hip opening and glute so that I can sustain the 26 miles. And you all should do that. Once you experience it, I think you don't need a coach to tell you, go and start doing strength training.
Yeah.
Back to you, Steven.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great point. And this is exactly what everybody feels during a full marathon. The back end of a full marathon, it teaches you what you're missing. So now that we are ready with all our gear and we understand the value of strength training, let's make sure we are in the right level of training for the full marathon we want to chase. Our general guidance, we actually offer 3 programs that you all have signed up for. The beginner program for the full marathon, the experience program, and the speed program. And the mileage is different for the 3, and the intensity levels are different. The general back of the envelope guidelines, I would say, is if you have run less than 3 marathons, it's great to stick to the beginner program because it makes sure your body can handle the load that comes with the full marathon training. And you are not going to go into overtraining and injury risk. If you run more than 3 marathons, I would say you are probably ready for a full marathon, for the experienced full marathon program. And you can discuss with your coach And this is not a hard, fast line. It's an individual to coach discussion that needs to happen for these levels. If you are a select few runner, if you're part of the select few runners who really want to chase a particular time goal and they have run lots and lots of marathon and they want to work on the upper end of their physical capability, then there is this special program called the speed program. Just so you understand, the beginner program through the season for the 16 weeks builds from about 10 to 12 miles for a week in the warm-up weeks to about 42 miles in the final week of the peak mesocycle. If you are in the intermediate or the experience program, you start about the same level, about 10, 12 miles, and you go about up to 44, 45 miles by the end of the season of training. But if you are in the speed program, you start at about 15 miles and you go up to 65 miles in a given week. And it's a significantly more intense program. In the plot below, I just plotted out the intensity component of the training. So anything that takes harder than a lactate threshold effort, I'm classifying as a hard mile. If you look at the percentage of miles you're going to put on your legs that are part of this hard miles, if you're in the beginner program, it stays except for week 3 and week 4, where we ask you to do some speed tests, your 5K speed test, mile speed test, and tempo speed test. Once you go past that, the intensity drops to below 20%. That means 80% of your runs, or maybe 80 to 85% of your runs, are easy runs, and 20% of your mileage comes from hard effort. If you are in the experience program, it goes up to about 25% of 20 to 25% of your effort being hard miles. But if you are in the speed program, you can see it in the red plot in the lower plot, red line in the lower plot, your intensity goes up to about 60% in some of the weeks and stays hovering around 50% for most of your training block. That is what you need to understand. If you have to pick the right program so that your body can handle the stress and you can get to that finish line. This is one iconic picture. Everybody gets this. When you go to a race and you cross a finish line, they take a picture of you. And everybody should imagine themselves smiling at this point. If you are beating yourself up more than you need to, you are sure not going to be smiling at the finish line. So make sure you have a training program that is suited to you at the right level. Discuss with your coach and let's get to that finish line with a smile. Okay, let's jump to the next slide. During your training, you will see a whole variety of runs. If you're in a 5K or a 10K, you'll mostly see only a CP run or an easy run. If you are in any of the higher mileage programs, like the half marathon and the full marathon, you will see a whole slew of runs. And in full marathon, you will see this entire gamut of runs that I've listed here. On top of the easy runs, which is basically relaxed running with low heart rate, easy breathing, where you can talk to the person you're running with, where the coaches need to see your run split into single mile segments so that they can analyze your run well, to brief, fast efforts in the form of strides or fartlek that you will see. In these cases, the fast effort should be at your 5K speed or faster so that your heart rate can go up and you can recover. You can teach your body to go up in heart rate and recover. And this is also a strength workout for your whole running kinetic chain while you are running. So these, you need to put in the right effort for it to have the right impact on your running. And for these runs, your coach needs to see the fast section as a separate segment and the recovery section as a separate segment. So there's a specific way to record this. If you do not know how to record this, please talk to your coach so that when you run these, the coach can easily analyze how you're running and give you proper feedback. And then comes hill intervals. It's one of my favorite runs because you can run too fast when you're running a stride or a fartlek, and one fine day where you feel really good, you can run a little harder than you should and maybe run the risk of running an injury. But if you're running on a hill, especially going up a steep hill, there is no way you can push yourself too much in terms of speed because the hill will take care of you. So hill encourages very good posture, which comes with fast running. At the same time, keeps you at an effort level that you will not overextend yourself and pick up an injury. So hill runs are my favorite. Again, this will be time based. You will be asked to run 1 minute at a high speed, tempo or higher, and then with a walking recovery. Again, the coach needs to see the fast section and the recovery section as independent segments so they can evaluate your run well, and they should be able to see the elevation that you are putting in that interval. And then there are runs called tempo runs, which is continuous running at your threshold pace for a number of miles. This helps your body improve your body's ability to handle lactate in your bloodstream, so that you tolerate little more lactate and you're able to take a little bit of discomfort when you're running, because this will be very useful towards the finishing miles of your marathon. And here, once again, the coach needs to see the tempo section broken down into individual miles as segments so that they can see how well your energy is holding up through this tempo section. And then you have longer intervals, which can be a half a mile or a mile of hard effort at tempo pace. And this is just like stride, it's just at a longer distance. So the effort level is supposed to be up to tempo effort. And here the coach again needs to see the fast section and this recovery section as individual segments. So please learn how to record these special runs properly so the coach can give you proper feedback. If you have any doubts about this, please reach out to your coach. They can guide you on how to record these. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Abhishek to talk about the next important topic.
Sivatsan, just 1 second before Abhishek, very nicely explained those runs. And I had a point here. So folks, when you think about full marathon, so one I had explained in my last comment about muscle lack of strength as one of the limiting factors of a good full marathon performance. So that's what I was talking about in my last comment. Now, there is one more limiting factor in a full marathon performance is your heart rate. Whether your heart is able to sustain the requirement of an entire full marathon sort of effort. So if you think of that as an engine, you are right now, let's say you are going for 100-mile, one long stretch of driving, and you have this car with a well-tuned engine where you are setting it at 60 miles per hour and it is just going at 60 miles per hour without getting overheated, without having any extra vibration that comes up at mile 80. So it just keeps going till 100. How is that experience? Amazing, isn't it? Where you feel that your engine is totally on top of the distance. Now, imagine you are in this old Katara, like a bad car with radiator problems and all that. And then you go on this 100-mile drive, and then it's looking great till 50th mile. And then you are seeing the speedometer is slowly coming up. The temperature gauge is slowly coming up. The cooling water temperature is going up. RPM is vibrating. Your vibrations are there. You can feel the engine is struggling. Then you know that at a matter of time, this is going to give way. And you don't have the confidence to drive the 100 miles. This same experience is what will happen in your long runs. Forget about full marathon. This is what will happen in your long runs, where you feel that your heart is not ready to continue to help you to finish the 15-mile run or a 16-mile run or whatever is the run may be. Or in other words, we need to increase the capacity of your heart. Your capacity of cardiovascular system needs to be improved. And part of doing that is all of these type of runs. Okay, these are the type of runs where we are literally providing additional capacity and load and all the stuff that is needed for that smooth drive. When you are running only in CP, you have that smooth ride, but for you to have the CP sustenance over the entire 100 miles, you need to do these kind of load testing of your heart and your cardiovascular system. And that is why you have all these type of runs. And why I'm saying this is that I see many times some of our runners just completely forget the descriptions given on a specific run. They just look at the distance and just go and run the distance and come back. So the distance is immaterial. It is the type of run and the objective of that run, which is what we as coaches are looking for, which is what is going to improve your experience of running long runs and full marathon from that Katara car that I was telling you to this BMW car engine that takes you to 100 miles without even a flicker of doubt. That's what we are shooting for. Okay, back to you, Sivatsan.
One quick addition to that. Yeah, perfect point, Pada. That's such an important point. And one quick addition, if you look at your program structure, you will notice that these hard runs, like the strides, hills, tempo, and long intervals, etc., are interspersed with the easy runs to allow your body to recover. If you do not run your easy runs easily enough, then your body's ability to do the hard runs properly will also go away. So please remember to run those easy runs as a recovery easy run, not as something that I wish I could run this way without getting my heart rate up. Okay, so make sure your easy runs are always easy so you recover to run the hard runs well. Super. With that, I think we can go to Abhishek.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are now moving to another interesting section of nutrition and hydration. Yeah? Till now, just to recap, we spoke about what to wear, winter clothing, shoes, what to wear, the strength training that is needed to get you there, and then Vats and Coach Bala spoke about different types of run that we will all do throughout the season to get us to the starting line of the full marathon. However, all these are good theory. Now comes the practical part of it. Now you're all set up wearing your shoes, having the good gear. Now that you've done your strength training, you are fully there. Now when you get to the first your starting point of your run for every single run, right? Generally, most of you are aware, energy is never created nor destroyed. It is only converted from one form to another. So that's exactly the same thing with nutrition. There's nothing different out here in running. Nutrition is something which will be needed for you to sustain as you move along in your longer runs. Nutrition, generally, we say any runs less than 45 minutes, you might not need nutrition. That's a thumb rule. However, just to practice, you should start understanding what is nutrition, how should you hydrate, how your body reacts to different kinds of nutrition gels and other stuff. So this is few guidelines around nutrition. And you would see, generally, most of you, if you have run earlier or have run a full marathon, you would know at the beginning of the race you are at the top of your energy, you run fast because your energy is at the top 100%, right? As you run farther and longer, the energy will tend to reduce. It declines from 100% to 50% to 40% and 30%. And that's exactly the science behind when you stoop, when you feel like you are bonking, you feel that you don't have energy, and that is where this nutrition comes into picture. So we are talking about nutrition at the beginning of the season because this is something that you will learn with practice, and with practice you would know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So it is important that we start about this. And your coach, and throughout the season we'll talk about more around nutrition, what things should be added into your program, into your daily diet, into your race schedule and all. But this is just the beginning of it. So from a nutrition perspective, our the goal is to keep your energy level consistent. It should continue to be at 100% as you move along. Like after 45 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours of running, most of the FMLs here would run like 5 hours to finish a full marathon. That's a lot of time. You would need something to eat, or something that can digest well and replenish your energy level to that 100%, so that you can sustain and run at a constant pace for a longer duration of time. That's nutrition. So we are recommending that you should have carbs, protein, and healthy fats as part of your nutrition diet, why during and before and after the runs. uh, while we don't have much details out here, what we are saying, while during your run, let's make sure that you have goo gels, you have energy gels that gives you carb, gives you sugar, to maintain your energy level at a level that can sustain for a longer duration of time. The another part from nutrition is hydration. While we speak about eating gels and eating bananas and other stuff to keep your energy level higher, hydration is a key component. Winter running, you would be wearing a lot of clothes. You would assume that you are not sweating. Okay, this is a myth. You sweat equally in winter season as you will sweat in summer season. You don't see it, but it actually sweating, and sweat is actually salt and water coming out of your body, and it is reducing your hydration and salt level into in your body. So essentially what we say is keep your hydration level higher. And how do you do it? By drinking water, taking electrolytes, taking salt tablets, so that you manage your hydration continuously. As a matter of fact, I personally do sip in two sips of water every single mile. Mile marker is my reminder to sip on 2 sips of water, whatever happens. Even if it is a 4 mile run or a 26.2 mile run, I will make sure I will have hydration as part of my daily run schedule. And as we move along, pre-run fueling is important. Like when we go into long run, as Vats was explaining, the long runs on a Saturday, which will be 90 minutes and 2 hours of running, you need to be ready with 100% of your energy level up when you start running on the long run. So please make sure you, okay, sorry, yeah, just make sure that you have had a good diet the previous night, you sleep well, and before the run in the morning, mostly generally most of the people will run in the morning, you prepare, have a banana, oatmeal toast, toasted nut, butter and other stuff in the morning, couple of hours before your run, so that you are fully hydrated and fully have nutrition energy level at the top of it when you begin your long run. Yeah, next slide please, Ani. Okay. Yeah. So as I was explaining, right? So during your long run, anything run greater than 90 minutes, you should try to have carbs around 30 to 60 grams per hour, and it could come through gels, chews, sports drink, some there are other things that people have tried and it works for them. So there is no rule for one rule fits all. You have to try what works for you and continue to try it throughout the season, so that by meso 4, your peak meso, you actually know what works for you, and that is your mantra on your race day. Also, as you finish your run, it's important that there is a nutrition schedule also for after you finish your run, because as soon as you finish your run, it is important that you take in carbs, because you have spent a lot of carbs running fast, running longer, running for a longer time. So you would need to replenish that energy lost through milk and protein and smoothies, within the 15 minutes of your run, so that the recovery can happen faster. So the final thing here is nutrition is your secret weapon to have the best race performance and good recovery as you move along in your race. Yeah. So over to the next slide. Okay. So now we move to another topic of recovery. So we've spoken about running, we spoke about nutrition. Recovery is a very key component of keeping healthy, not getting injured, and continue to sustain at the level of your optimum level of performance continuously. So recovery is a key component of our training schedule. If you would have seen our training schedule, most of us would have strength training, recovery days, Sunday being a rest day, and couple of recovery days in the middle of the week. So you first timers might say that, okay, why do I have recovery day? This was supposed to be a running program, 7 days of running. Not really. we actually, the training schedule is meant to be 4 to 5 days depending on the type of program you've chosen, and then it has a mix of rest days, and rest days are essentially your recovery days, and that's where you actually start getting to get more energy and be better at it. As you run, there's a lot of muscle breakage happens as you run throughout. So it is important that recovery is important to get those muscle and mitochondria and all those stuff in your muscles get recovered so that you are ready for your next run. As a matter of fact, what I always usually finish my run and do a very cool down run, very slow run as a recovery run, so that you are really recovering from your current run for your next day. So I always tell my cohort that your recovery starts at the beginning of your end of your current run. Okay, your recovery actually begins after you end your current run. It starts with cool down exercises, it starts with foam rollers, it starts with walking, it starts with many different things, yoga, walking, and other stuff that helps you recover. And as mentioned, recovery is also important, that it prevents injury, it prevents overtraining, and it will also enhance long term performance and endurance. Like, if most of you know, right, if you sleep well, you will feel better the next morning. Exactly that way, like, if you sleep well, you recover well, then for your next day run you will feel fresh and you will give your 100% of intensity as you move forward. The aim is that we should sleep for 7 to 9 hours a night to help muscle repair and hormone regulations, and of course, limit screen and follow a consistent routine. Would know, like, if you try to run mornings, try to stick with your morning run so that you have a 24-hour cycle to get your recovery done, so that you are back on track on the next day. Sometimes life is different, so sometimes you might run in the morning and try to run in the evening to compensate for the next day. We generally recommend we shouldn't do that. Some people might want to run on an evening and then morning the next day. Again, that is, you have very less time to recover, and while one or twice in the season is fine, we will recommend that to avoid injury and be better, and less strain on your muscle, less intensity. You should focus on giving recovery time alongside your training runs. Next slide, please. Okay, yeah, we just covered this. Like, if we know our training plan of 1 to 2 rest days per week, and of course it is based around the intensity and the fatigue level, and how we deal. So training program. So if you stick to the training program is taking care of things by itself. You don't have to worry about it. Just stick to the schedule, the daily schedule, and the recovery will automatically is built in the training plan. Another strategies, as we're talking about it, foam roller, massage roller. Most of us, if you haven't used it, try using it. You will stick to it and you will love it. Okay, foam rollers, you can use it after your runs, and it will help you recover much faster than you would have ever imagined. I'll just keep it there. And then the hot and cold therapy is something, is a life changer currently for me. Essentially, I've been running marathons. This year I've ran 9 of them, and some of them has been 2 weeks apart. And that's not great, by the way. But how do you recover from it? You actually recover from some of these recovery strategies: the cold therapy, the hot therapy, the Epsom salt in hot bathtub, soaking in it will really help reduce the soreness and inflammation from your runs. Also, cross training. A lot of us don't give a lot of importance to other types of training or strength training or different types of activities like swimming, cycling, walking. These are good exercises other than running, which are low impact activities, which will help us to recover as we move along in our running journey, right? So so we say you should rest more to perform better on a race day. So yeah, that's it from my side. Next slide, please.
Yeah, just one thing to add here, guys. So when you look at the injuries that happen because of full marathon training or in a full marathon, the larger reason why injuries happen is not because of strength training is not there or some other inherent issues, but of course these also contribute. But the larger reason for anyone to get injured from a muscle/joint kind of injury is when recovery is not there. You do the long runs and then you don't recover, you don't sleep well, and then again come for a run and you do that, and that's when the body gives way. So it's not like beautifully said, it's not a weakness. Rest is not a weakness, it's a strategy. So it's foolish if you do a long run, you delay your long run from Saturday to Sunday, and then you don't do Sunday morning, you keep procrastinating and come at the Sunday evening, 5 o'clock, you go and do a 15-mile run, and then realize that Tuesday you're some team meeting, so Monday let me just go and finish it off. That is a recipe for disaster. And by the way, I'm not even guessing this scenario. I'm not making up this scenario. This is like a very common occurrence with our runners. They do this. And another thing they do is, for whatever reason, they miss out on, say, 1 or 2 runs in the weekday and think of their long runs as some kind of a savings account. So we asked you to do 12 miles, but you missed a 1 weekday run of 4 miles. So let me do 16 miles so that the total mileage for the week is complete, as if it's some kind of a bank account you're running. Sorry, if you do that, you will get injured because the recovery time is not enough for the next run and you are not there in the training pattern, that your body is not ready, and you will get injured. It's almost like X plus Y will give you Z. It's so straightforward. But you know what? In this life, common sense is the most uncommon thing, right? So it is us as coaches to guide you in these things. Let's not make rookie mistakes on recovery is the key point. Back to you.
Oh, it's a Kahoot time, looks like. So it's my turn. All right. Let's have some fun, folks. Let me just figure out the screen sharing thing, and then we'll get started. I hope all of you have played Kahoot before. So what we are going to do is just, you know, uh, full marathon is all about engagement. Engagement is a key here. So just like in full marathon, showing up is important. The better you, and the more you show up, the more you engage, the better you'll perform. So that's what we are planning to do in Kahoot. We'll go through few. There are, I think, 7 or 8 questions in Kahoot. And wrong answer will not give you a penalty, but it's all about just learning and having fun. So let me start. I hope you have played this before, but those who have not, go to kahoot.it, or you have a Kahoot app. Just put this pin there. And let me see how many people are there including the panelists. I think there are 35, 40 people in the call. So I hope I see at least 25 in the Kahoot. Shiva, all right, great, great. And Bala, I can announce the free t-shirt thing here.
Go for it. Go for it.
Of course, right? All right. And then, yes, the wrong answers have no penalty. But if you give right answer, and the way Kahoot works is you have to give it fast as well. So fastest and the right answer will give you more points. And whoever is on the top of the chart will get a free t-shirt from RHWB. So let's see who is that person. Oh, nice. I'm seeing amazing participation. Let me make sure there are no panelists here. There are more attendees than panelists. All right. Great. I'll give you one more second and we'll get started. All right. Ready? Okay, let's get started. Simple questions. We are going to see some of the things which you already, Abhishek, Bala, and Srivatsan talked about. So hopefully all of you get the correct answer. So what is the main goal of your long run during the marathon training? And you get 10 seconds to answer this, okay? To build endurance, that's correct, right? So as we talked about, endurance is the ability to sustain physical and mental effort over the long period. And that's what full marathon is all about. So yes, the correct answer is to build endurance. Go to the next one. Let's see who's on the top. All right, so everyone got it right, but a night all got it the fastest. Very good. Arnav Singh there. Awesome. Arnav, good to see you there. What is the best way to prevent cramps during a long run? Drink only water, stretch during the run, maintain proper hydration and electrolyte, or run faster. All right. Abhishek talked about it. Preventing cramp, it comes down to nutrition. And nutrition, Abhishek gave a high level guideline, but it comes to your personal calibration. That's why those long runs are important. You want to see during your training what works for you, what prevents cramps for you. We're going to give you the guidance, but it's, you have to calibrate it week after week. So yes, maintaining proper hydration and electronics is key to avoid cramps. All right, let's see how is that looking for the leaderboard. Night Owl is still there. Arnav Singh is still leading. Awesome. And Srij is at third place. Awesome. Let's go to the next one. What should you do if you feel injured or fatigued during your training? It happens. It's all about resilience, right? So one option is no pain, no gain. Let's push it, right? That's one option. Keep running and take painkillers. That's also one option. And rest and assess the situation and stop training completely. Stop training completely, okay. And rest and assessing the situation is also very important. Talk to your coach, see what works. Do not run when you are in pain. There's no pain, no gain doesn't work for full marathoner. You need to assess what's going on because, if you keep pushing yourself, you might hit something which will take you out of the game for several months. So yes, rest, assess the situation, talk to your coach, and then take the next steps. All right, Arnav Singh, I'm liking it. Why Arnav Singh? Because he was my part of my cohort and he's doing his full marathon first time. So I love it. Awesome. Let's go next. Fourth, what happens when runners keep the strength training? They lose muscle mass. It slows your metabolism. You become more injury prone and your muscle recovery is faster. You become more injury prone. Bala talked about it, but think about the way I would like to think about it is, and I think Bala touched upon it, is think about your body as a car. So without strength training, it's like driving an old car with weak engine, worn out parts. It might run for a while, maybe 10 miles, 12 miles, but then it's gonna start making those squeaking noises, which generally you see after 20 miles. So with strength training gives you a option to make that car stronger, right? Build that horsepower so that you can run and enjoy your full marathon. So yes, and also avoid injuries, right? Good, great going,
Very
Arnav.
excited about Arnav. Just so you guys know, the 40 attendees, he's also our youngest full marathoner trainer in the history of RHWB at the age of 15. So it should be fun. Or 14.
All right, but it's not, still 3-4 questions to go. So Night Owl, Dave, Sunil said, let's, get those fastest fingers in. Why is the rest important during a marathon training? It allows muscles to repair and rebuild. It increases strength immediately. It helps burn more calories, or it reduces hydration needs. No brainer here. Rest day is a training day. That's a mantra. Rest day is not a fun day. It's a training day. Your body is recovering from all the muscle tissue breakages you have done during the week. So very, very important you take rest day very seriously. All right. Should we continue? I think it's no all the way. But I'll continue. Give other chance. All right. What's the main benefit of speed plays? Speed play, intervals, strides, fartlek, and all that. Build endurance, increase speed and efficiency, reduces training time. Yeah, because it's faster, or prevent injury. It's a trick question in a way. increases speed and efficiency. Was talked about it. You are basically using those speed plays to get that additional efficiency in your body, additional speed in your body. Endurance, long run. Long run is giving you that endurance factor. Yes, speed play also gives you endurance, but the main reason you have been assigned all those speed plays is to get that speed in, get that efficiency in. Oh no, are you kidding me? All right, I'm sorry about that. Oh no. And I think this is the last question. Let's go. When is the best to consume fuel during marathon? Your full marathon. 5 minutes at the start line, as soon as you start after 10 miles, at the halfway point, or every 45 to 60 minutes. Every 45 to 60 minutes. Yes, that's a guideline that generally works for you. But as I said, calibration, doing those long runs, understanding your needs, what works for me may not work for you. So make sure you, kind of do those long runs. And I generally say do those, add the awareness in those long runs so that you know what's going on with your body. Okay. Dave is there. And oh, there is one more. What is the biggest mistake to avoid during marathon training? Run slow on easy days, keeping strength training, increasing mileage too quickly, or listening to your body. What is the biggest mistake? Increasing mileage too quickly. So again, this is a trick question. This is part of your training plan. We want to make sure that you follow that training plan to the T. Just because you're feeling good on first Saturday, don't go and run 10 miles. Don't go and run 15 miles. Increasing mileage in every week slowly. That has been already accounted in the training plan. So follow the training plan to the T. And that, a lot of people we see that we have to kind of pull them back and make sure they are on the plan. That's why I included this question just to drive that point. So with that, let's see. Podium. Okay, number 3 is Dave. All right. So Dave got toppled. Nikhil is 2. Awesome. And number 1 is Abhishek. Are you kidding me? Awesome. Well done, guys.
It's not a fair competition.
It was fun. Again, the intention here is to make sure that some of the critical points which all of us are talking about in relation to full marathon, as they are taken home. I hope you liked it, and over to you.
All right. So I want to finish on this slide and the next slide where we talk about a couple of key numbers. First is the less than 1% number. You've all done a great job taking the first step, signing up for a full marathon training, and trying to become one of the less than 1% of human beings in the world who have completed a full marathon. It's fantastic, but it's the first step. Remember that it takes a proper training block to achieve this goal, so stay with it. That brings us to the second number there, the 2-week number. Anytime we see that your training is not happening for 2 weeks, that would suggest that you are not ready to continue the full marathon training, and we will strongly recommend that you move away from the full marathon training for this season and try it again at a different time when you can allocate time to do the training. And this is a key number because just like Ani just talked about, increasing mileage very rapidly is not good. So if you skip 2 weeks, your schedule has moved way ahead of where your body is. If you try to run to the schedule, you are increasing mileage very rapidly, and that will lead to injury. And are about happy, healthy running and not just a bucket list check of your full marathon training goal. This is about making healthy running habits. And let's go to that next slide. So shoot for the 5.0 score. Best way to have a happy, healthy running in your full marathon training block is consistency. If you can commit to show the discipline it requires and to train and run a full marathon, shoot for the perfect 5.0 score or try to get as close to it as you can. You will have a fantastic training block and you will do great. If you cannot commit to that, if you say you miss your strength training all over the place, you skip your long runs, you skip lots of your weekday runs and try to do 1 or 2 runs once in a while, full marathon training is not for you. You should really consider moving out of it to something that is safer for the time that you allocate to this. Full marathon training and completing your full marathon is like a crucible. It will change you, but it will change you only if you allow it to. And that comes from consistency in training. So please remember that. With that, let's just jump to the last slide and the nice quote, and then we can take questions. A journey of 1,000 miles begin with the one step, and you have taken the first step of signing up. Now let's take the next step with confidence and with focus. Now let's open it up to questions, and you can type your questions in the chat, and we will try to address as many as we can.
Good news is a lot of questions kept coming while presentation was on. So we addressed a lot of questions as well.
So we'll keep it open for another 5 minutes for questions, and then we can wrap this up because it's been going on for an hour and a half now. So. Okay, looks like I think most of the questions were answered already. So.
Yeah.
Question time going once. Going twice. Okay, that's an interesting question. I have completed 10K runs 3 times, but now I have signed up for a full marathon. Can I still do it? Bara?
Yeah, I had a smile in my face when I read it. Let's see. So jump from half marathon to full marathon itself is a very big jump. So jump from a 10K to full marathon is not impossible, but you got to be ready for 5.0 kind of commitment. And I'm hoping that you have a coach. You should have an open discussion with your coach. He or she will guide you. I think by MISO 1, that means 4 or 5 weeks into the training, you will know where you are. You know, if the rate at which you are ramping up, just for context, if you have done 3 10Ks, that means very soon, every time you put a shoe on your foot, you will be doing a minimum of 10K. That's what we are looking at. So you'll be doing at a minimum 40 10Ks by the time you get to the start line of full marathon. So doing a 10K has got no bearing. I've also had experience of runners where they just didn't realize that marathon is a marathon. They thought the only distance available is marathon. They came in and they managed it. So, and then there are folks who just couldn't do it. They couldn't complete the training season even after doing 20 half marathons. So let's keep an open communication with your coach. Assess yourself. There is nothing, there is no shame in saying that, okay, I'm not ready for full marathon. Let me do half and then slowly ramp up to full. Okay. And then all the very best on that well thought out decision you need to make with your coach.
Yeah, just to add positive spin to that, Pradeep, yes, you can do it. 5.0 is going to be the key ingredient there. And you, Srivatsan here, at least you have done 3 10Ks. He started running training in the first season and completed full marathon. So, that's just a positive spin. It is possible. So I don't want you to think that it's not possible, but key ingredient is 5.0 commitment. Do your training to the T and assess the situation on a weekly basis, how your body is reacting to the load you're putting on your body.
And yeah, that's such a key thing. And talk closely to your coach. Discuss how your body feels and how your body is handling the load. That's very important. And the next question we have is, do we have a full marathon race in Runners High Race Day? Yes, we do, but we still strongly recommend all full marathoners to actually sign up for a live race as well. You can run in the Runners High Race, but it's nice to sign up for a live race as well. And that kind of drives your training nicely. Bala, you want to add anything to that?
Nope, I'm good. That's good.
Okay. And are there FAQ sections where one can find information for fixing frequent injuries like knee pain, ankle pain during long runs?
Yeah, we have Suja has put the website link for it. We'll continue to develop it this season. We'll add more injuries blog post out there.
We also want to add that if you have this pain and it gets harder as you run, it's better to consult your doctor. Like the running should not be that painful. You will have some niggles, but if it's getting painful as you keep running, better to consult a doctor.
And also make sure your shoes have enough mileage left in them. If you're running with one pair of shoes that you've been running for the last 2 years with over 600, 700 miles, probably the shoe is not helping you in your runs. If we sign up for a full marathon elsewhere, 2 weeks from your Runner's High race day, what do we run on Runner's High race day? You can choose whatever you want to run there. We offer all distances, so you should be good to go there. You can actually have a quick chat with your coach and see what will fit your body for Runner's High race day.
Yeah, I think that is good, Srivatsan. We can close it now.
Perfect. Thank you all. It was wonderful to see everybody, and hope you all found this useful. And we will try to keep sessions like this going as long as it's useful and everybody benefits from it. And happy running. And remember, 5.0 is your goal. Keep running.
And on behalf of all the coaches, folks, we are very much looking forward to your success, okay? Because your success is not just your success alone. You will inspire a lot of people within RHWB and outside RHWB, because full marathon has that aura around it, and all of us will vouch for it. So I am personally excited that all of you are able to reach the finish line of full marathon happy with a smiling face, and thereby motivating so many more folks, inspiring your kids, spouses, parents, you name it. Let's make that happen. So don't run just for yourself, run for the community. So all the very best and Happy New Year.
Yeah, I will stop.